Okay gang, we're back. What we're gonna show you today is how to make semi-clear whiskey balls using plywood and no really extra effort other than doing that. You can't really see these right now, but you know, once you get these wet, there's a little center section that's cloudy, but the outside is clear, and that's what we're going for. It's not gonna be completely clear, but it's super easy to do it like this, and it still looks really nice inside of glass. All right, I'm just going to show you where we're at right now. So this is our whiskey ball mold. So I just pulled this out of the freezer a little bit ago. And, you know, sometimes this top section, if you put in too much water, there's ice on the top. By the way, what we're gonna do, everybody knows there's this line right here that we fill the water up to. When you do it with this plywood top, you fill it up just a little less. You gotta play with it, but don't go up to this line because it's gonna overfill, which I did this time, but that's okay. So let me take it out. You guys all know what this looks like. All right. In fact, you can see the center section is white, but the outside section is clear. So it's semi-clear, I guess you could say. And while it's not totally clear, I think the effort is worth it. Looks pretty cool once it goes in the glass. We'll just save these on the side for later. All right, now the trick to doing these is drop these in the Ziploc bag here and put them in the freezer. Right. Now, if you're not interested in what we just did, you can just stop, kill the video right here. But I'm going to show you, and I'm going to talk about a theory of how this came to be. I noticed when you make the whiskey ball, the non-clear part is actually air bubbles. And what would happen is it would, you know, a lot of times it would crack. There's cracks in them, air bubbles all over the place, and it's kind of ugly. Although it still works, it's still functional, does what it's supposed to do. So what I thought was, if I could find a way to chill it from the bottom first, and then let the air bubbles expand or get out, exit on the top, then I would minimize how much frost is inside the actual ice ball or whiskey ball. So what I tried earlier is I tried covering it up with hot pads inside the freezer, and that kind of worked. So I thought, well, let's just build a cover for it like this. So I did. And here's the cover. I just grabbed some scrap pieces of, and here's the measurements. I'm going to give that to you right there. If you guys want to write that down, I'll just leave it there. I use a lot of Baltic birch plywood for some of my woodworking and jigs and stuff. So hold on, let me get this bird out of here. So it's 1/2-inch Baltic birch plywood. And you can notice I didn't have a piece quite wide enough. So anyway, there's a glue line right there. But here are the measurements. So for the top piece, it's 6.5 inches by 9.5 inches. Now, got an asterisk here, because if you cut it that long, or if you cut it that big, you're gonna trim it in just a little bit. So that's not the final measurement. However, for the other pieces of the box, these are the final measurements. So the side pieces are all 1.25 inch high. And that would be right here, okay? That's high enough on the inside. Okay? That is high enough to cover the whiskey ball right there. And that's what we're doing. We're just making a cover for our ice mold. Here we go again. So, of course, it just got wet. All right, 7 3/4 by 1 1/4. Those are going to be your long side pieces. 4 3/4 by 1 1/4 is going to be your end piece right here. And 1 1/4 by 1 1/4 by 4 are going to be your corner pieces. I did that, you know, I could have made it square out at the end, but I figured there's going to be a gap on the bottom. This way, it actually fits really nicely in the mold, and it, grab the mold here, and it completely covers it. You can see how that looks right there, and that's what we're going for. And it's kind of tight on the top. I was thinking I could add some more foam insulation or something on top. But the theory, again, is you freeze it from the bottom and then let the air escape out the top. So I just keep this on here and I stick it in the freezer, and this is what we end up with. You can see as we leave it out for a little bit, you can imagine what happens when it goes in the glass. We're not going to do that. There's a little frosty section in the middle, but the outside is clear. All right, guys, if you like it, you got the measurements, go for it. If you try it, it works. If you got better ideas, go ahead and comment. Other than that, be safe.